Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. Welcome. I'm so glad that you are here. Today we're going to be doing your fire signs, your fire signs reading for the month of November. So these are going to be any messages that kind of come through. This is specific to fire signs. So today we're going to be focusing on Aries, on Leo, and on Sag. So timestamp is going to be down in the description, so check it out. So why don't we just get started? And of course, if you are brand new here and you've never met me, my name is Meshi. I'm so glad that you are here. We do general readings, and now we're getting into more specific readings as well. We chat at least 4 to 5 times a week, and we do not only tarot readings, but also we get into practicing some yoga, law of attraction, anything and everything that allows us to kind of bring all of these different elements of our lives into harmony. So if that sounds good, you would probably enjoy it here. Okay, why don't we just dive right in? So let's begin first with Aries. Aries, see what's happening for you. First and foremost, Aries, let's talk about full moon. Is actually, if you're watching this on the week of October the 18th, then we're moving into your sign. We're moving into the full moon in Aries. So things are looking up. Also, the crystal that I have picked for you is tourmaline peace. Hopefully you can see it. And I feel like you're going to be really working on creating some boundaries. We have the sacrifice. What are you sacrificing? What is part of you that feels like you're giving up something, or you're really offering it up to something? What's going on with you and with protection, with boundaries? What's happening there? I feel like when we're talking about sacrifice, to me, it doesn't even, it just feels like you're doing something, or you're going to be working on something that really offers. It's like a sense of offering. I'm trying not to blind you guys here. So it very much feels like all the activities that you're doing them in a way that it's sort of like you're doing them for the betterment of others. It could have something to do with I feel like this is more for your family life. Like I feel like you're doing things that's sort of like you're taking the punches right now. It feels like you're sort of doing things that kind of like you're taking on harder work than you need to, you know? It's like you're okay with being in the muck. Transformation and healing, deep healing, things are changing. I think that you are kind of going through this process, or you're going to be going through this process of changing an element in your life that really needs to be transformed. And I usually use that word quite often because we're constantly changing and evolving, but there is a difference between when there is a sense of like offering up for something versus when you're going through a form of change, because that's the natural evolution of what's kind of coming up for you. And I feel like you're changing on a deeper level. Like some of you are going to be definitely going through this process of change. Hopefully you can see a little bit better. I feel like you guys are going to be going through this form of transformation on the inner, like it's like a deeper transformation rather than like it's different than, oh, you know, I'm going to be changing a position, or I'm going to be changing a job, or I'm going to be changing the way I'm going to be talking to people around me. I think that this is sort of like on a deep cellular level. It's almost as if like you're changing your mind about what you used to believe, and like you're kind of shifting that. You know what I mean? Like it feels like you're coming into your power. That's what it feels like. I feel like some of you are going to be coming into your power. You're really solidifying how you kind of want to move forward. You're really becoming more solid, and it's almost like you're starting to, like, to me, this is all about Empress energy, but you're really starting to trust who you are becoming and the direction that you're, like, this very much feels like you're starting to really begin to fully embrace, and that's what it feels like. You're starting to embrace who you're becoming, and you're setting up some boundaries, and you're sort of warding your inner energy. Like, I feel like for some of you, you're just going to be not only creating boundaries, but it definitely feels like you're just changing, like, on a deeper level. But maybe just the way that you're approaching things, like you're letting things go. I feel like for some of you, you were definitely using this full moon for your advantage. I feel like there was a lot of shadow work that you probably went through with Mercury retrograde. I feel like it brought up a lot of stuff for you, and I feel like you're kind of coming out much stronger than before. But it's coming out stronger in a way that you are just a lot more assertive about who you are. Okay, what is coming up for Aries for November, please? What is coming up for all my Aries for the month of November, please? What do they need to know? To me, this is like, it's like you're finding that inner, the deep inner peace, or the deep inner stillness. You know what I mean? Like, it very much feels like, it just feels like you're coming to a halt before you pick up speed again in whatever you're working on. This more feels like energetically you're finding that inner stillness. Like, it feels like perhaps like the energy that you were really embracing for the month of October was very much like that go, 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 that really spastic movement-based energy. And right now you're really going to be starting to embrace more that inner calm, that inner stillness while you're going through this form of change. Isn't that funny? So I feel my way into faith one step at a time. It's like you're going on this journey, but you're going on this journey of transformation, of change. And it feels like the whole sacrifice thing was like, that's what's kind of getting left behind in the past. Like, it feels like this is what you've done for others, so that you're going through this change, realizing that it's like, why am I giving up so much of myself? Why am I compromising on the things that I need as a person for others, when really, like, I think that it's like it's almost as if you're starting to really realize that you need to fill up your own cup first. So that's where that whole stillness, and to me this is all about like that inner peace that you're creating, like that really smooth movement. But as you're moving forward, you're also realizing that you need to embody all of the things that you need in order for you to move forward and be happy, because whenever we're doing so many things for other people and we forget to kind of take care of ourselves, it's like we can get left behind, right? And once again, we have the High Priestess. It's almost like this is the... Okay, let's adjust things here. the underlying message of this entire reading is your 10 of Wands. It's like opening up those blinds and like you're becoming a lot more, you guys are going to becoming a lot more aware of really what's surrounding you and what have you been doing, and you're realizing that you've been compromising and sacrificing far too much. Why are we not adjusting here? Okay, I feel like for some of you, you are really realizing, what are you giving up? What are you compromising? What are you, like, to me, it doesn't feel like a sacrifice. It feels like a compromise. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like this is very much coming across like it's a compromise. And you're going through this change as you're slowing down. You're really realizing that in order for you to step into your power, you really need to find stillness and really figure out, like, what will it take for you to fill up your own cup? But that means that you need to take these stupid little sticks that are in front of you. You need to see. It's like you can't see the forest from the tree. You know what I mean? Like you're putting these blinders on and you're not looking at like what is actually happening. And here's what's happening. So we've got the Six of Cups. It's like you want to give, like you're continuously giving. And isn't it funny how like they're lining up with the Sacrifice card? You want to give, but you can't really give from an empty cup. But you've been giving, and then you're going again. Like look how they're lining up. And it's like you're going through this form of. This to me with the Death card, you're going through this transformation, and it's coming up twice. First, it's like realizing it, then you're actually changing your action. But again, like with the Stillness and the Hermit card, you need to go within and really ask yourself, okay, what is working for me and what is not working for me? I feel like for some of you, you really need to kind of, like, you're going to be diving deeper into why are you feeling resentful or why are you feeling unfulfilled? And the reason why is because you're not stepping into your power, and your spirit is asking you to please just step into your power. Stop the people pleasing. Stop doing things for other people before you start doing things for yourself first, because you keep trying to give from a place of emptiness, from a place of lack, and then you're wondering why you're feeling like drained and unfulfilled. And I see this within your relationships. Like I'm feeling like this is all about your relationships and how you relate to people, but then it's seeping into your work. You know what I mean? Like that whole people pleasing thing. I'm feeling like this is coming up like in your intimate relationships with your family. I think that this is all about your family actually. And then it's kind of seeping into other areas. Because by the time we went to the tarot, I feel like the Empress energy is what you guys are going to be really stepping into. You have to. I want to see if I can get you one more card. I wanted to see what would be a good guidance for self-care. Okay, what is coming up for Aries for the month of November? What can be helpful for the month of November, please? Okay. Clean your space. To me, this almost feels like you need to literally cleanse the energy. You need to change up things within your working environment, within your home environment. I would start with your bed first, to be honest, within your bedroom first, because that's sort of where you have the ability to kind of recharge your energy. But interesting month, you guys. Okay, this is all I have for you, Aries. I hope that you have found this helpful and useful. Okay, let's see what is coming up for Leo. Okay, Leos, for the month of November, your crystal is pyrite. Okay, Leos, let's talk. Let's see what is coming up for you for the month of November. What do you guys need to know? What can you expect? What can Leos expect for the month of November, please? What do they need to know for the month of November? New chapter begins, a new beginning, something new. What are you starting? Where are you? It's like you're stepping out into the world. It's like you're starting. I feel like this is going to affect your career, but I mean, for some of you, it might actually just be that you're newly single, you're starting a new relationship. It doesn't feel like that. To me, this actually feels like you're literally starting like this new chapter in your work. This feels like your work. Or for some of you, it also feels like you're going to be moving out. So like you're starting something new. You're braving out into the world. You're kind of getting out there with what you know, with how you know it, and kind of see what happens. But I feel that you guys are enthusiastic about it. Yeah, I think that you are working on, it's like you're like, I feel like for some of you, you're definitely looking at this like it's like this big challenge, like this big undertaking. And I also feel like you're definitely, if you haven't yet, you're going to be asked to rise to that challenge. You're going to have to rise above the naysayers, rise above all of that. And more importantly, I kind of feel like you're also going to kind of quiet down the doubt that you have in your head, because I think that you have this thing that's back and forth thing where you're not even sure if that's the right thing for you. You know, I feel like you're sort of like, is it right for me? But then again, but we also have the pyrite. So I feel like you are going to, depends on your energies. So I always kind of say that use your own discernment, Leos. But I think that for some of you, you are definitely going to work more consciously with what you want to create. And I think for some of you, you're definitely starting to work with energies in a more conscious way. I just said that. Here's what I mean. I think that some of you are looking at this new beginning like with full-blown enthusiasm, and I think that you're seeing the possibilities and you're braving out into the new world and say, you know what, we've got this, we can do this. But then for some of you, I think that you're approaching this with a lot more caution. So you, like, for those of you that are sort of looking at this change like, oh my gosh, like, can I do this? You are being supported. So if for some of you, I think that you're looking at this because you're scared of, will I have enough money? Will I be able to support myself? Will I be like, will this work? Ultimately, like, your big question that I'm getting here is, will this work? Will I kind of move through this in a way that actually it works out? And to be honest, it honestly depends on your own timeline, and it honestly depends on what you're tapping into. You're definitely going to rise to the challenge. I think that a lot of you will, or what's going to happen is if you don't rise to the challenge and you're kind of sitting there like, I'm not sure if I can do this, then you're definitely going to change through this, because you're going to be presented with obstacles, and that's going to be your lesson. Yep, there you go. Can't even make this up. So something is changing, and I think that the reason why I'm kind of picking up on that energy that you're sort of hesitant. Some of you are hesitant, not all of you. Okay, so just kind of, I don't know why we're like deviating into two ways, but that's what I'm getting right now. Some of you, you're going to rise up to the challenge and you're going to march through. Others of you, it's almost like you're going to go through this is going to trigger you to like just kind of, it's going to trigger you to go through your own ego death, because I think that up to this point, you never actively seeked out situations where you got that triggered into change. Like, it feels like this is like an abrupt change. This does not feel like, oh, well, you graduated and then off we go into the wilderness. This more feels like, no, you know what, shit fell apart. We need to kind of move forward, and you need to make money fast. or you need to you need to kind of get things off the ground fast. Like I'm definitely feeling a sense of, that's why there's a fear, because you're just like, you have no other option. So it's sort of like, okay, how can I make this work? And the thing is, like, keep in mind, like, you do have great things that are waiting for you. You have to believe that. But you need to kind of go through like this whole crap kind of falling apart. So aspects of you and your belief systems will have to change and shift. And like, all I'm seeing is like, some of you are sitting in this new apartment and be like, what the hell did I just get myself into? And I think that that's exactly what some of you needed. So as you're moving into this new chapter of your life, just know that it's going to have moments of both, okay? It's going to have moments of scarcity, and it's also going to have moments of like pure bliss and joy. And you have to kind of embrace both. And that's why the rise is in the middle. You have to kind of be like, you know what? I acknowledge that like both are kind of part of the deal, and we kind of signed up for that, but I know that I couldn't stay where I was. Directing my focus onto what's thriving creates more of what I want. This is ultimately all about basically whatever you focus on expands. And I mean, whatever you continuously on a regular basis focus on can expand. So what does that mean? If you're constantly in fear, if you're constantly doubting yourself, and you're constantly in that state of, will this ever work out? I'm not sure if it's going to work. I don't know if I'm strong enough. I don't know if I can do this. I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure. If you're constantly sitting in this form of doubt, that's what you're going to attract, a lot more of that. But if you're sitting in this space of, here's this obstacle, I see you, I'm rising to the challenge. Here's this problem, great, I see you, I'm not ignoring you, I'm going to rise up to the challenge. And I see a lot of you are going through, like, it's almost like this breaking down the old version of you and rebuilding this new version of you that is really just gonna come out so much stronger. Purification, what did I just talk about? This to me is all about just it's almost like to me this absolutely feels like an ego death. It absolutely feels like some of you are just kind of going through these changes, or you will be going through these next chapters of your life, but then that will forever transform you of who you were and how you were being in the world. You know, I feel like this is a necessary step for your own evolution. It's a necessary step for us to break down old beliefs and old ways of being so that we can change and evolve. So it's like this is like necessary, you know, this is like important, because, but keep in mind, like, it's almost like some of you will need to really, really, really work hard at managing that inner dialogue of what you continue to tell yourself, because it can deviate within a second very quickly. But just, you guys are Leos, like, you have to know that you guys have so much power, it's not even funny when you choose to tap into it. Yeah, it's gonna be all about balance. Look at all the major arcanas coming up. And the Tower again. And we have the Fool in reverse. Let's talk about it, shall we? Let me move it over. Here we go. Okay, let's discuss. I feel like you're trying to, or you're going to be working on creating this balance of how do you rise to the challenge? How do you manage that inner scarcity, that inner demons that are kind of coming up, that are doubting your every step and making you feel like you're inadequate, with what you're actually doing? Because if most of your mental energy goes into constantly doubting what you do, then you're never going to make progress. So let's just start there. I also think that here you kind of want to be, it's like you're battling with this because you want to be fair, but you're not being fair to yourself. So it's like you kind of, you need the help, but you don't want to ask for it. You want to cling on to the old ways of doing things because it feels comfortable, but then at the same time you kind of feel like crap about it. So I see that whole inner battle happening, and then here's your battle. And I think that you're kind of working through it. Just know that, like, as long as you're working through it day by day, some of you are going to be kind of going through this process of just knowing that, like, the more often you're managing that inner world, that inner dialogue, and the more often you choose you first, then all of these are just, to me, this is just aspects of yourself that really need to kind of quiet down, because a lot of these are our own doubts. I don't think that anybody's truly battling you here. I think that for some of you, you're literally just going to be doing a lot more shadow work for the month of November. I think that a lot of these, because of this change, whatever you're going through, this next chapter in your life, it feels like your entire world is crumbling. And I mean, look at the crumbling, but it doesn't have to feel like, it doesn't have to feel that way. To me, this is actually about a part of you that really, really needs to die, a part of you that really needs to fall apart and be left behind. And I mean, like, you're welcome to, I think for some of you, you're absolutely going to be invited to work with the moon on this. You have to work with, you have to work with sort of like all that you're presented with, so that you can work with it in a more gentler way. I think that you're so used to just kind of charging through things and, you know, getting your way. But really right now here, this is inner work. This is all, it needs to happen in the quiet, in the darkness. And, but stuff needs to fall apart. Like, stuff needs to fall away into the past. Spirit is asking you to take a chance on you. It's not asking you to take a chance on other people. It's absolutely asking you to just lean in, lean in, lean into your own joy, lean into the things that make you happy, not so much about what other people want for you. Like, find what that really looks like for you, because when you do, then you're going to be a lot happier in the process. So this is all I have for you. Oh, I wanted to pull one more card that's sort of like an abundance card. Yeah, and that goes hand in hand with the Fool, is having faith. Miraculously, amazingly, everything I need is it always comes. Love is opening me to receive beyond anything I imagine. So to me, this is all about just having faith in you, having faith in something greater than you. Lean in on your practices so that you can move through. You can move through these changes, because it's uncertain regardless, you know, like that uncertainty is always going to be available. But for you to actually lean in and trust yourself, that takes a lot of courage. And I think that that's what you're really invited to really embrace here, is to have more courage, to have more faith in what you do and how you present yourself, you know, and how you really move through things, not how you present yourself, but just how you move through changes in your life. Because that's when we have to kind of rise above and really lean in on what works. This is all I have for you. I hope that this has resonated, and I will see you guys at the very end. So let's go on to Sagittarius. What is happening? What is happening for you for the month of November? This is your crystal that I have chosen. I believe that this is a zebra jasper. Super pretty. And to me, that's all about duality and about understanding both sides of the coin, understanding the shadow and the light, understanding that they're both part of the same deal. And the more you embrace it, the more you can become the more fuller version of yourself. What is happening for Sagittarius for the month of November, please? What do they need to know for the month of November? Your past supports your future. Where you come from is sort of part of the deal. Where you come from kind of tells a story, and it lays down the foundation of where you're going. But more importantly, where you're going, it has a lot more to do with what you've gained along the way. What were the skills? What were the experiences, the lessons really that you're taking with you into this next phase of your life? I feel like you guys are going through not only a form of change, but for some of you, you're definitely going through this deep, deep pain that you need to kind of heal from. Because it's like maybe somebody betrayed you, or maybe you've lost someone, but ultimately it's like a form of grief, a form of like you're grieving through it, right? Where it just feels like that person was so close to you. But you have to know that they are in a better place when like that chapter of their journey with you is finished. Get grounded, connect with nature. I feel like for some of you, you're definitely so in your head about all of the things that are happening that you don't know how to kind of like root down that energy. And that's what you will need to do, because it's just when you root down, you can actually get so much insight, and you can actually bring more balance, more harmony back into your life. But what happened in the past, well, not only does it need to stay in the past, but I think that what it really comes down to is you need to kind of focus on how that actually said, like what were the lessons that you took with you, because those are like the most important parts. Is what did it give you? How did it change you forever into the version of you that is showing up today? That's what you need to kind of figure out, right? Because it allows you to move forward. And to be specific here, I see this as something happened with the family, and you went through so many different forms of obstacles with your work that it's really setting you up for that next stage, that next chapter that's kind of coming up. But I also feel like the shifts and changes that are happening with your family, with your relationships, that's kind of creating this turmoil. And you need to kind of sort that out first, or you will be sorting it out. And you're invited to really, again, like it kind of goes back to this crystal of just that duality, right? Where on one hand, you're heartbroken. On the other hand, you want to kind of move forward. And it's like you can't really rush. You can't really rush what's coming, right? Like there are times where like that, if that's your path, that's your path. You know what I mean? Not only can you not rush it, but until you've truly embraced that that's how it is. And I feel like this is more about the people around you. It's embracing that their darkness just as much as you embrace their light. And you have to do the same for yourself too. And then kind of decide how you want to move forward. Okay, what is coming up for the month of November, please? I was kind of thinking that actually. I think that the way that you're going to be able to move forward, and this more feels like a sense of loss, as in somebody that was close to you and now they're not as close to you because you feel betrayed, you know. And the only thing that you can do, especially when you're working with this crystal, is to take that in, that's sort of, it's sort of like when you see the grass is green for the first time, you know what I mean? Like you have to sort of look at it and accept it, but then also you need to kind of root down and figure out like, okay, what do I need in order for me to move forward? And like one of the biggest things is that the reason why you need to get grounded is because you needed to learn to release and let go and forgive. I feel like there's just so much pain that you're hanging on to that you have to know that it was never about you. It was always about them. And if you feel betrayed by them, if you feel like they really let you down, if you feel truly heartbroken, Feel that, but don't stay in that for too long. And you need to let them go, and you need to release them. You need to release them. You know what I mean? Like, it has more to do with you. If you forgive, you liberate yourself, which is ultimately what you need to do right now. There's way too many things here. Okay, we have the Ten of Pentacles. We have the Six of Pentacles in reverse. We have the Hermit. Let's do one more. Oh my goodness. Okay, let me just actually shuffle. And we have the Six of Swords. And we have the Eight of Wands in the bottom of the deck. There we go. So let's unpack. I feel like this has so much to do with like the abundance, as in, I feel like this is going to be about your family member. Like, I think that for some of you, you're definitely, it's like you're bringing things in full circle, right? I think that it's almost like this needs to happen in order for you to not only clear the air, but to allow that fulfillment that you get from that love and support, connection that you get with your family, with the people that you love the most, the people that you care about the most. For you to feel that, you need to forgive them. You absolutely need to forgive them, because otherwise you can't. It's like you can't give from an empty cup. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you're going to feel like you're kind of like giving from an empty cup, really. Like, that's what I'm kind of getting here. That you can be too generous with something that you don't have. You know what I mean? But then the other part of it is that you need to go within to kind of figure out, like, okay, how can I move through this? How can I really connect with my own inner power? And getting grounded and the Hermit, like, that's all about really go within and find your own answers, because it's always going to be within. It's never going to be on the outside world. Like, the outside world can kind of influence you, but that's not really the solution. And then here we are with the Six of Swords. It's all about just moving on. And just really, like, that's what you're asked to do, is just move on. Like, release this heartache and move on. Because when you do, you create lots of momentum. You can actually move forward much faster if you do this inner work. As much as it sucks right now, it will feel painful. But this is just, you have to remember, this is only one chapter of your life. It's not the whole story. You know, and sometimes we tend to cling on to thinking when something is very painful that that's the whole thing, that's what we're here to do, is just here to suffer. And we're not. We're here to thrive. But sometimes there are these lessons that kind of come up that we need to learn to move through it as quickly as possible, and, you know, try to come out on the other side a little bit lighter. You know, I'm feeling like you guys really need to, you guys are going through some major life lessons that are really shifting your perspective, shifting the way that you see your own world. Let's see what abundance card can help you guys for the month of November. Stay in the present and don't get too far ahead of the flow. You'll soon trust that nothing more will come than can be handled at each moment. Yeah. Basically, all that is coming up at any given moment is just what you need at that given moment. Nothing more and nothing less. But I think that this whole month for you guys is going to be all about forgiveness, all about releasing and really feeling your feelings, but then learning how to move forward in a more productive way, in a way that feels more in alignment for you. And I know that some of you will want to rush this, and I also know that some of you will absolutely will fight this instead of just embrace it and allow it to be. This stone is beautiful just as is. Just as it's being embraced, both the darkness and the light. So remember that. This is all I have for you guys. I hope that you have enjoyed this. Now let's hop on over to the very end, where I can give you guys a couple of guiding words and just whatever I feel like is kind of coming up for the month of November. So let's go. Okay, you guys, this is all I have for you guys. I hope that you have enjoyed it. For all three signs, very interesting read for each of you, very different messages, but yet an underlying theme of November is going to twist and twirl you into something as it's moving you along your own journey, moving you along in a more lighter way, as if, you know, like, it just feels like it's shifting you into areas that you may not have thought that you wanted to go to, but you're going to have to because it's part of your journey. And that's totally fine. I want to give you guys one more card because why not? I'm feeling generous today. What is coming up for the month of November, please? For my fire signs, what do they need to know? It's dark and you can't see a fucking thing. Yep, sounds about right. Through the darkness, sometimes, most of the time, 95% of the time, you can't actually see where you're going, and it will absolutely feel like that for the month of November. It will feel like a complete shit show, and that's totally fine. That's kind of part of the deal. Know that, embrace it as much as possible, because really the more you do, the easier things are going to become, and just know that it's kind of part of the deal. But then as you move forward, little specks and pieces of the puzzle will always reveal themselves. And that's sort of what you need to kind of remember for the month of November, that maybe it feels like a complete chaos 95% of the time, but just know that you are taken care of. You know that you are protected, and know that you're never given any more than what you could handle at any given time. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, you can give it a thumbs up. You can also subscribe to the channel if you have not yet already. And I will see you guys again tomorrow with another video. Bye.